Elon Musk just dropped one of the biggest announcements in SpaceX history. And if you have been following him for years, you know this is a massive pivot. SpaceX has officially shifted its focus from Mars to building what Elon calls a self-growing city on the moon. And he says they can actually pull this off in less than 10 years. Mars, on the other hand, is now looking at a 20-plus year timeline. Now, if you remember, just last year in January 2025, Elon explicitly said that the moon is a distraction and that we are going straight to Mars. Fast forward just 14 months later, and we are looking at a complete reversal. Today, I'm going to break down exactly what Elon said, why he changed his mind, what this means for Starship, and most importantly, what this means for Tesla investors, because this connects to SpaceX and Tesla synergies in ways most people out there aren't even talking about. Let's get right into it. So, here's exactly what Elon posted on X. He said that, for those unaware, SpaceX has already shifted focus to building a self-growing city on the moon, as we can potentially achieve that in less than 10 years, whereas Mars would take 20-plus years. He went on to say that the mission of SpaceX remains exactly the same, to extend consciousness and life as we know it to the stars. The real key here is his explanation for why the moon is the faster route. You see, it is only possible to travel to Mars when the planets align every 26 months, and that is a grueling 6-month trip. But you can launch to the moon every 10 days, and the trip only takes 2 days. That means SpaceX can iterate, test, and develop much faster on the moon than they ever could on Mars. In a follow-up post, Elon clarified that the Mars work will start in 5 or 6 years, so it will actually be done in parallel with the moon, but the moon is going to be the initial focus. He got even more specific in another reply, stating that a moon city can be made self-growing in less than half the time it would take for Mars. He highlighted that the critical juncture for humanity's expansion beyond Earth is having a self-growing civilization off-world before the resupply ships from Earth stop coming. The last part is absolutely crucial. He is genuinely worried about some kind of existential event, whether natural or man-made, that stops those resupply ships. The ultimate goal is to get a self-sustaining colony established as fast as humanly possible, and the moon just gets us there quicker. He even posted a simple forward update, civilization on the moon, and it racked up over 60,000 likes almost instantly. But we have to address the elephant in the room. This is a complete 180 from what Elon was saying just last year, when he wrote in January 2025 that the moon was a distraction. He was dead set on Mars. So what actually changed over these 14 months? It really comes down to 3 major factors. The first massive factor is Starship's development. Starship is a lot further along than it was a year ago, but it is still not Mars ready. The orbital refueling demonstration, which is absolutely required for any kind of Mars mission, is now targeted for June 2026. After that, an uncrewed lunar landing is targeted for June 2027, and a crewed lunar mission isn't expected until September 2028. Those timelines tell you everything you need to know. The moon is essentially the ultimate proving ground. You test the hardware on the moon, you iterate, you learn your lessons, and then you take all of that to Mars. The second major shift is the Shy acquisition. SpaceX just acquired xAI less than a week ago in a massive deal that valued SpaceX at $1 trillion and Shy at $250 billion. Elon has talked a lot about using AI to help design and build Starship faster, and he's even discussed orbital data centers. Now, all those advanced AI capabilities are completely in-house. And then there's the existential urgency. Elon has been much more explicit lately about his concern that something could severely interrupt Earth's ability to support space travel. Think along the lines of a war, a global pandemic, or an asteroid. If those resupply ships stop launching, any off-world colony just dies. The absolute fastest path to a self-sustaining civilization is the moon, period. He made this point directly, emphasizing that we need this self-growing civilization before the ships stop coming. And the thing is, he isn't abandoning Mars. He is simply sequencing it. Moon first, then Mars. He said the work for Mars starts in 5 to 6 years and will run in parallel. But the moon gets the initial focus because it has the fastest path to the goal. That actually matters, which is creating a backup for human civilization. From my perspective, this is not a retreat. It is a brilliant strategic resequencing based on what SpaceX can realistically achieve in this next decade. So, what does this moon city actually look like? Elon has been teasing this concept for a while now. He has repeatedly called it Moonbase Alpha, which is a cool reference to the 1970s British TV show Space, 1999. A few months ago, he literally posted that Starship will build Moonbase Alpha, and when someone shared a photo of the moon rising behind a starship down at Starbase, Elon commented, "Let's go to the moon again. Let's go and stay. Let's go build Moonbase Alpha." The entire concept centers around a self-growing city. What that means is a colony that can organically expand. Without Earth constantly having to send up more materials, you utilize lunar resources. You manufacture everything right there on site, and you build the infrastructure that enables even more building. Today, Elon even addressed the competition. He said that if other countries or companies managed to land something on the moon before SpaceX, he would congratulate them. But then he added a brilliant point. What really matters for the future is being able to land millions of tons of equipment and people to build that self-growing city. In that respect, he said they are perhaps more the tortoise than the hare right now. That is classic Elon framing. He is not just racing to plant a flag for a photo op. He is meticulously building the heavy infrastructure required to move millions of tons. That is what Starship is for. That is the long game. And do not forget, SpaceX already has a massive $4 billion NASA contract to land astronauts on the moon. For the Artemis program, the infrastructure is physically being built right now. The test flights are happening. This moon city is not some sci-fi fantasy. It is a concrete roadmap. The entire space strategy is undergoing a fundamental evolution, returning from visionary exploration to infrastructure logic. This is no longer just about technological breakthroughs in rocketry. It is a systemic restructuring involving energy, automation, and cross-sector supply chains. For us, faced with such a high-dimensional macro layout, fragmented information often makes it difficult to grasp the complete underlying trend at a glance. Therefore, we have internally compiled a must-trillion-dollar interstellar map to help us adopt a macro perspective and forecast this trillion-dollar industrial chess game. I have placed this handbook in the comments section. Click to claim it. All right. Here is the exact part that Tesla investors really need to pay attention to. Why on earth does a moon city matter for Tesla? There are a few massive reasons. The biggest one is Optimus. Elon has explicitly stated that he wants to use Optimus humanoid robots to build the infrastructure on the moon and Mars. In that Cheeky Pine interview from just last week, he talked about Grok orchestrating entire fleets of Optimus robots. He literally said that if you want to build a factory, Grok organizes the robots to do it. Think about that in the context of Moonbase Alpha. You are not going to send thousands of fragile humans to the moon to do dangerous, heavy construction. You are sending robots. And those robots are built by Tesla. They are running Tesla AI. And now with Shy integrated inside SpaceX, the entire orchestration layer is connected. Tesla just converted the Model S and X lines at Fremont to Optimus production. Or at least they are on a direct path to conversion over the next quarter or two. They are targeting 50,000 units this year alone. One of the ultimate markets for those robots could literally be the moon. I am not completely sure they will hit that 50,000 number, but anything over 5,000 or 10,000 units is plenty to gather training data, and then eventually, some of those could actually start heading to the moon next year. Then you have the deep SpaceX and Tesla synergies. Elon has absolutely not denied a potential SpaceX-Tesla merger. In fact, when he was asked directly about it on the Cheeky Pine podcast, he completely deflected rather than just saying no. Betting markets are currently assigning a solid 15% chance to a Tesla-SpaceX merger. SpaceX is planning a massive IPO for mid-2026, potentially raising $50 billion at a staggering valuation of $1.5 trillion. One scenario that Wall Street analysts are heavily discussing is SpaceX merging with or acquiring Tesla, which would finally give Tesla shareholders direct exposure to the incredibly lucrative space business. The Moon City announcement just makes SpaceX's long-term value proposition that much stronger. Beyond that, you have the direct technology transfer. SpaceX and Tesla already share top engineering talent, manufacturing philosophies, advanced battery technology, power electronics, and software architecture. A sprawling lunar base needs heavy power systems, solar arrays, massive battery storage, autonomous vehicles, and robots. Tesla literally builds all of those things. There are so many vital components that Tesla is going to be able to provide. Take the AI chips required for the solar-based data centers, for example, that apparently makes up 60% of the sheer cost of a data center. Tesla is right front and center there. Then they are building the solar panels, and the work already happening in the solar panel factory is moving incredibly fast. When Reuters reported on this huge story today, they framed it as SpaceX telling investors it would prioritize the moon. That is institutional capital finally paying attention to this massive shift. For Tesla investors, the immediate question isn't whether the moon city is going to directly add to Tesla's revenue. On the next quarterly earnings call, it won't. The real question is whether this strengthens the core thesis that Elon's companies are all building toward a single, shared future, one where the hardware, software, AI, and manufacturing capabilities are completely interchangeable. And the answer to that question is a resounding yes. I honestly just can't believe that this is actually possibly happening in our lifetimes. As a Tesla investor, we might get a chance to participate in this directly if Tesla truly does merge with SpaceX. But even if a merger doesn't happen, think about the pure reality that Elon is now targeting the moon to build a fully self-sustaining city. They are going to absolutely need robots. They are going to need Cybertrucks. They are going to need grid-scale energy storage. And they are going to need those AI chips I mentioned. Everything that Tesla makes actually needs to go there to make this work. Autonomous vehicles, solar panels, every piece of the Tesla ecosystem will need to make its way to this off-world city. That is exactly what Elon has been planning this whole time. Imagine when he uses boring company tunnels to build underground infrastructure out there. And maybe, just maybe, there will be some way you need to use Neuralink. I am not entirely sure on that one, but perhaps the first astronauts who go there will have enhanced capabilities, or at least the ability to operate machinery with the use of their minds. Who knows, maybe that one is a little far-fetched for now. To really wrap all of this up and put it into perspective, there are a few massive takeaways we need to internalize from this announcement. The entire priority has officially shifted from Mars to the moon, with a self-growing city in less than 10 years becoming the new absolute goal. He didn't say we are just going to land there and plant a flag or drop a few science structures. He is saying we are going to have a self-growing city in under a decade. That means heavy infrastructure, the ability to grow food, and the capacity to manufacture raw materials. It will be fascinating to find out where those materials will come from and what lunar resources will be available to actually create data centers and new housing. This is just a massive flashing sign that if this is the new goal, I would not put it past Elon to either create a brand new company or have SpaceX and Tesla collaborate to create habitats and home structures. Tesla already has a world-class fixed system built, and so many of us have talked about having some sort of rapidly deployable Tesla home. And do not get it twisted, Mars is absolutely not abandoned. The work there starts in 5 to 6 years, running completely in parallel with the moon. He reiterated that a few times. It runs in parallel, but the moon is simply the fastest path to a self-sustaining off-world civilization. The entire strategic logic here is all about iteration speed. Launching to the new moon every 10 days versus every 26 months for Mars creates a much faster development loop. And speaking of infrastructure, Moonbase Alpha is going to need an absolute army of robots. Tesla builds those robots, and likely all kinds of them. I imagine it won't just be humanoid forms. I strongly believe Tesla will be creating many different form factors, because anything that has a camera on it can actually become intelligent and execute tasks. But the Optimus opportunity is clearly going to extend way beyond Earth. Ultimately, this completely supercharges the SpaceX and Tesla synergy thesis, whether it happens through a merger, an IPO, or just deep shared technology. These companies are building toward the exact same future. Elon put it perfectly simply, the overriding priority is securing the future of civilization. And the moon is just faster. That is the mission. That is the ultimate why. If you are invested in Tesla, you are invested in an ecosystem that is actively building toward a multi-planetary future. This announcement makes that vision more real and more incredibly concrete than anything Elon has ever said before. I will keep you all fully updated as this massive story develops. If you got value from this breakdown today, please hit that subscribe button. I track every single major Tesla milestone and catalyst so you never miss a beat. Thank you, everybody. This shift in focus essentially pulls space engineering back from high-risk interplanetary exploration to a cycle of near-Earth industrialization, characterized by greater certainty and efficiency. In the face of such an industrial upheaval involving trillions of dollars and spanning multiple dimensions. Merely tracking scattered news upgrades makes it difficult to capture the true underlying logic, where a single move affects the whole situation. Therefore, we have internally compiled a Musk's trillion-dollar interstellar map to provide us with a deeper and more global perspective. I have placed this handbook in the comments section. Click to claim it.